A couple thousand puzzles to work out, and you have to count on my words now.
Hey folks, this is Lex here from Boored at Work, and today we're taking a look at the iPhone 7 for the full review. Now, you guys gave me a good number in the comment section on my first impression video. Deservingly so. It was definitely fanboying hard, so I will be very unbiased and fair in my full review of the iPhone 7. But we're just going to have some key talking points focusing on what Apple is advising are the main features as a wider upgrade, from the improved camera, from the omission of a feature with the headphone jack, to the new sexy matte black finish color on the device, and just overall speed and battery life testing, even the front-facing or one front-facing speaker for the iPhone 7. So I'll keep it short and sweet. We're going to get right into the review for the iPhone 7. Now I'm going to keep it brief for the camera. We do have a full camera review for the iPhone 7. Check the link below for that link. But overall, the camera is a top tier camera. You won't be disappointed in its results. In terms of an improvement from the success, it's really minuscule, if at all. The only time you're going to see differences with this camera is with the worst conditions. Unless you're, shooting for a photography degree or something like that, you're really not going to be pushing the camera to its full capabilities. From day to day, I still give it to the Galaxy line of devices. They just come out looking better with those cameras, and they are just better cameras. Now, the iPhone has definitely improved with OIS and the low lighting conditions and the quad tone flash, but it's a very small improvement from the success. So I can't say it's justification to upgrade from the iPhone 6s. Hey guys, now this is the front-facing camera for the iPhone 7. It has been upgraded to 7 megapixels. Really don't know why Apple didn't change it to 8, but it is a decent camera. It's probably the better upgrade than the rear camera in terms of noticing changes from a previous device. Snapchat, Facebook, anything live, Periscope, things look really great using this front-facing camera. Now, there is no wide-angle lens on the level of a Samsung device, so you're not really getting the full ratio of if anyone's behind you or if anyone's around you. But all in all, it's a great camera, and I do find myself using the front-facing camera a lot more than I would beforehand with the upgrade. Now, when taking a look at the iPhone 7's front-facing speaker, or the one front-facing speaker, it's an improvement. It's definitely better than the success, but I wouldn't say it's anything outstanding. Now, I've used HTC devices in the past when they first began the front-facing speaker push, and now other devices like the ZTE Exxon have also done this. It's just not on that level, but it is an improvement, so I really can't complain at all. Now, what we've done here is give you a sampling of the front-facing speaker volume via camera, so it won't be the best, but it is a sample. And we're going to use the amazing Android dub video of my iPhone 7 impression from Thunder E. So we're going to check this out and see how good the volume is on it.
Hey guys, I'm an Apple fanboy and I drink that Kool-Aid very much. Here's the new iPhone 7.
Now folks, this is probably the most important part of the iPhone 7 review. I know you guys are really interested to know how an omission of a feature works with a flagship device like the iPhone 7. Now, not having the headphone jack personally does not really affect my use case, but for the general public, it really does cause issues and is very cumbersome. I use it at the gym. The issue with me is not actually not having the jack port, but the quality of the connection. For at random times during my workout, there were times where the music would either pause or skip or hiccup, very reminiscent of having, I guess, bad Bluetooth headphones, and it just cutting out randomly because Bluetooth connection isn't really the best out yet. They're still fine-tuning it. So that's my main gripe while using the iPhone 7. Now, they do include an adapter. I tried the adapter with the iPhone 7 and there was no issues there. And I'm going to also rectify what I said in my first impressions video. When I advised that digital is the future, I was mainly speaking in a hardware sense, not in reference to the audio quality and transfer of how music actually works, which the Pocket Now crew did a really great job of breaking that down. And shout out to some gadget guy. He really broke it down for me, as I was unaware of how the jack and analog work to create sound for a device. But this is something that I really wouldn't recommend a person to upgrade if you're not ready to adopt that that mindset yet. Honestly, a lot of people use wired headphones. It's a sudden and drastic change, and I wouldn't recommend upgrading if you have a success. If you have a success and you really love your headphones, don't even think about it, because it's only going to piss you off. A lot of people are pissed off about this. Me, I'm looking towards the iPhone 8, and again, this is a transition device. That's all it is. It's prepping the customers for what's coming, and what's coming is no jack port. So that's what they added for the iPhone 7, and that's my take on it. Now, one of the major changes for the iPhone 7 has been the change of their iconic home button. For years now, and since the dawn of the iPhone, it has been a pressable button. People have fallen in love with the fact that they can press that home button, and it's kind of the universal access to the whole operating system that kind of runs everything. They've made it static this year. It's no longer a button. Now, the removal of the jack has given them room for a larger Taptic engine. So when you press it, there are 3 different levels. As soon as you set up the device, upon unboxing it, they give you the option to kind of fill them out. Now, I'm using a 3 because I really do like the feeling of a button. And psychologically, it's weird at first, but I don't understand anyone saying it takes a couple of days or getting used to. You get used to it within a couple of minutes, and it's very satisfying. It feels like you're pressing the whole entire display, but you know it's not moving, so it feels like one solid piece of a device. And now the static home button kind of leads over to another feature for the iPhone 7. That is, it's water resistance IP67 certified. Now, a lot of people said the success was the same, but they just didn't acknowledge it. This year, it's finally official. And it's a welcome feature. Now, Apple has extremely lagged behind when it comes to waterproofing and water resisting for the devices. Samsung has owned that category for quite some years now, and they're IP68, so they're waterproof. Resistance is kind of like you can drop it, you can make mistakes, don't go swimming with it kind of thing. I have no intentions on doing that. I usually keep my phones extremely away from water, but it's nice to know whenever I make a mistake, it is down water resistance. Maybe in the iPhone 8, where I believe they're going to remove the static home button entirely, it will be IP68, and that's the hope there, where you don't have to worry about the conditions. Your device is going to be protected. So it is water resistant, and that's a great feature for it. Now, getting to the bare bones story of the iPhone 7, speed has been by far the biggest thing I've walked away from. Now, yes, when you're opening up a box, it's fast out of the gate, but you guys have seen these benchmark tests online and the speed tests against the top tier Android devices out there in the market. It is just blowing the competition out of the water. The A10 Fusion processor, which is now quad core, which is definitely new for Apple, just makes this thing hum. I can't really explain it. It looks the same as any other iPhone because it's a very minimalistic, bare bones operating system when you're looking at it. But in use case scenarios, this thing is just fast, guys, and it's probably the best thing for the iPhone 7 in terms of feature set. I don't really see differences in the camera. The static home button, it really isn't a feature. It's kind of just like the future in terms of the color. It's sexy, but it isn't a feature. Again, the iPhone 7 isn't feature set when upgrading, and that's something that is underwhelming a lot of people out there. But when it comes to using the device itself, it is by far the best experience I have had for a mobile device. It just is. Now, it isn't as open as Android, but it does work. And for what I need it for, I need day-to-day things to just work well. And that's what the iPhone has done for me. In terms of iOS 10, I was part of the beta program, so I've been using it for months now. I've become really acquainted with it. I love what they've done. Now, iMessage is a bit convoluted. I don't like all the things they're adding to it, from all the stickers and all that. It's becoming a little bit much. I mean, if I want that, I'll go to Facebook Messenger. I really don't want that in my stock app, but I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to take away the competition, so it's okay. It's just something I don't really prefer. Notifications with 3D touching and being able to reply from anywhere in the operating system is definitely a welcome feature as well. iOS 10 is great, but you don't need to get an iPhone 7 to get iOS 10. You can get it on the 6S, the 6, the 5, and the 5S, I believe. So it really devalues the iPhone 7 when you think about it, knowing that iOS 10 speeds up the device it's on, and it's universal. Now, there's certain features you're not going to get because of the iPhone 7's hardware, but nothing alarming and nothing to detract you from maybe getting a 6S or a 6, if anything. Now, I've fallen in love with 3D Touch. As you can see, I use it all the time. I've constantly tried to do that while testing the beta, and it's a part of how I use the device. And the haptic engine as well is really swift with this. So all around, the operating system, speed, the processor is really decent for this device. When it gets to the battery life from the iPhone 7, I'm sticking to what I said in my first impressions review. It's greatly improved. I'm not a heavy user. I'm not gaming. I don't even use the GPU much when it comes to my applications, other than using my applications. There's really not much that I push my iPhone 7, so my use case may be different than the power user, but I'm getting a good 12 to 14 hours out of my iPhone 7. And when it's just sitting idle, the battery saving method that they've added with iOS 8, I believe, is nice. It works well. Now, I would say the Plus definitely has better battery life. I'm just not going to sacrifice usability in one hand for that large battery, so my preference would be an iPhone 7. Now, for anyone out there, don't worry about the battery life. It is improved from the better processor with the A10 Fusion with the 14% larger battery. Now that they have more space to design and engineer a battery after removing the jack, it does improve overall battery life. So it's a great thing to have. What I like more, of course, there are Android devices out there that are getting a day and a half to 2 days, and that's just with heavy use. But those things have like 3,000 milliamp hour, 4,000 milliamp hour batteries. This is very still small due to the size of the iPhone 7. So I'm good to go with the battery life from the iPhone 7. That is going to sum up our review on the iPhone 7, guys. Now, the summary that I'm taking away from everything is that these are very small incremental upgrades that don't justify an upgrade. They really don't. They're refining the design of the iPhone, and that's great to see, but to have a year amount of time to make these small changes, and they're so minuscule when you're looking at the camera, to the static home button, to IP67, which isn't waterproof, it's just water resistance. A lot of the devices in the market have already had these features, and I'm excited for what's coming. And again, this is what I'm saying with the iPhone 7. It isn't a flagship device per se. It's more of a transition device to prep their current customer base. And it's not really for their end user at this time. Apple's really sticking to their guns and thinking that people can hold out another year for what's coming. So I can recommend the iPhone 7. Is it a top flagship phone? Is it great? Yes, it is. But when comparing it to the Galaxy S7s and the Note 7s, and when they're not exploding, those are more powerful, better devices for your hard-earned cash if you're looking to upgrade from a previous device. Be sure to press that like button. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to enjoy your entertainment. And this is Lex. Thanks, guys.